And we're live. Welcome to the daily reading, and very happy Diwali again to all of you. Um, this reading is going to be from Stuart Wilde's classic book. It was written, I believe, in the early 2000s or mid 90s. It's written over 12 to 15 books, a lot of audios, and he was one of the key players in the self empowerment movement, um, like one of the pioneers. So the reading is from the book Infinite Self: 33 Steps to Reclaiming Your Inner Power. And the chapter I'm going to read to you is step 22, and it's from page 165. And the chapter called it has to do with inspiration and creativity. It's called Understanding that Inspiration and Creativity Come from Within. And I hope you gain value out of this and benefit from this reading. Okay. As part of this journey on the earth plane, you're going to have to handle survival stuff: cooking, food, washing your body, paying the mortgage, so on. Beyond all that, and beyond your involvement with friends and family, there's one other purpose for you in this lifetime. You have to express and create. It's a challenge to think up a new idea or write a poem or paint an original painting. Creativity is often uncomfortable as it requires you to go deep within. However, as you embrace the infinite self, you touch not only your inner subconscious self, but I believe you tap into the deep collective mind of humanity. There you'll find yourself in touch with all the creativity that there has ever been. I think in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, they call it modeling, where you think about or notice what successful people do and you do the same thing. That, in an external sense, would be modeling. I think it's a good idea, except there's a small danger you might wind up in as boring on TikTok as everyone else. In my lectures, I sometimes ask people to think of an idea that has never been thought of before. There's a long silence. Try it. It's quite hard. But the infinite self is ram jam full of stuff that no one else has thought of. Also, all the energy of the very greatest creators of the past and present is still all there. It hasn't disappeared. Creative splendor is infinite. It doesn't waste away. Whereas Mozart is now passed on and buried, the inspiration that was Mozart is still alive today. So if you play or compose classical music, you can pull upon the memory of Mozart, his energy, and you can use that as inspiration to improve your music and make it more original. All of Mozart's energy is still in the collective unconscious, in the perpetual global memory of our people. You can call upon it and tap into it. If you need his energy, study his life, listen to his best works, and then from the familiarity of understanding his genius, enter a meditative state and just ask to be locked into his inspiration. Say, Amados, bro, show me few cool riffs on this guitar that no one has ever heard before. Play what you hear in your mind. Once you understand that creativity is infinite, you can see the benefit of putting the ego to one side and allowing several ideas and feelings to flow from within. There is a huge difference between intellectual thinking and inspiration. Modern paintings are a good example. They are often urban, negative, and intellectual, which makes them busy and neurotic. They don't necessarily please you. Often they repulse. Then you see a simple painting of a child sitting in the dirt by a railway track, and it's very beautiful because you can see the simplicity and the pathos. You can see the emotion and you relate to the feeling. Stay away from the mind. It will bore everyone, so reach for the God force. Reach for the impossible and have the courage to express yourself in totally different ways. Creating is not necessarily painting, music, art, or books. It can be carpentry, bricks, nurturing children, education, sport, and healing. But however you choose to express, you are here to create. The way to start is to discipline the ego. You need order and silence, and you have to be in touch with your subtle feelings. Then instant, prolific creativity comes from within. Most of what people create is fairly boring, isn't it? So they think it through and say, well, this guy painted the tree green, and to the left, so I'll paint it greeny brown and put it on the right. People look at it and think, there's a greeny brown tree on the right. Yeah. Real creativity is an inner thing. Once you go past your resistance to creativity, past the natural laziness that the mind has, you get settled and ready to create. And it's amazing how prolific and original you can become. The ego mind will slow you down. It will make excuses. It will worry about how others will react. Worst of all, it's lazy and disorganized, but your feelings, your infinity, is worried and lazy. It flows endlessly. It's original. So put you thinking aside and call upon your subtle feelings to show you a new originality and fresh new ideas. Or even an old idea that you can express in a new and different way. If you want to create, get the tools around you that you need. Lay out the paintbrushes in order in a sacred way. Bless your paintbrushes. Give thanks for your paintbrushes. Give thanks for the colors. Put your paintbrushes in a special place. If you say, I'm going to paint at 8 o'clock because my word is law, then go on and sit there, settle, center within, and feel the painting complete and finished. Up from your feelings will come a painting that is unusual, strange, different, and complete. All you have to do is rub the brush on the canvas a few times. People will have to buy your work or it'll just give them pleasure. Rollo May wrote a great book called The Courage to Create, in which he said that we have to go beyond our natural inhibition. The ego has enormous inhibitions about creativity because the ego hates to be evaluated. It wants to paint something neurotic and complicated and have everyone adore it and praise it. The ego is very keen on things like its expressions are. This is my statement. I'm not going to change for anybody else. I'm going to do my slightly green tree over here on the right. This is me. Terribly important, neurotic, and everybody should stand up and salute. There are loads of writers, artists, painters, and creators who are full of bull. When you listen to the dreary stuff about my art and my poetry and my film, it always makes me want to throw up because it's so ridiculous. The fact is, if you get within yourself, you don't want to be inhibited. You just want to create. People are going to like it or they're not going to like it. But you have to sell your creativity. Then you might have to adjust. There are loads of artists who are suffering from the eating disorder called too much ego, too little God force. Sometimes you have to adjust if you want to eat. I found I've had to do over the years because if I really wrote the books I wanted to write, the ones that were deep inside me, people wouldn't understand them. So I've had to write books in a language people can understand. That's just a matter of merchandising. One day when I got a minute, I'll write some books and tell the story of the inner worlds. If people don't understand them, it won't matter because they'll have all the other books to read in the meantime. That's just one of the compromises I've decided to make. Anyway, creativity is one of the main reasons for being on the earth plane. Think in terms of what will I create? And then feel it out soon. Sooner or later, it's very likely that you're going to have something brand new to sell. You've painted something, you've carved something, you've written a program on a computer, you've created some music. Creativity is money in the bank. I love that. Creativity is money in the bank. You can become prolifically creative once you get the ego out of the way. So get organized, be creative, silence the mind, and feel out what direction suits you. Be courageous. It doesn't matter if you have to do 10, 15, or 20 absolutely grim paintings and trash the lot in order to create one that is beautiful and that you can keep and sell. Creativity is a discipline and a way of expressing beauty and the God force within. Seek, observe, and then try it out, but do something. You'll be amazed by what you can do. Again, this is from Stuart Wilde, Infinite Self, 33 Steps to Reclaiming Your Inner Power.